Well, it is Saturday and I am in the office. It's going to be a busy week for our law firm here in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So I'm getting things ready for a busy week. With that said, it is September 11th, the 20th anniversary, and we're all thinking about that day. I know exactly what I was doing that day and what was happening. I did not lose anyone directly in the 9/11 attacks. I did know one person who unfortunately lost his life that day. I wouldn't say that we were friends. I just knew him from seeing him on campus at Villanova, Christopher Duffy. So I always think about him when today comes along, and we talked a few times, and he was a good guy, and I just my thoughts go out to for him and his family. So with that said, it is a sad day, but a lot of us are reflecting. I was driving my sister to work that day at Arthur Anderson in Center City, Philadelphia. She had just started working there. I was in law school, and I was going back to South Philadelphia to actually go to the gym that morning. And driving back, I got to about 19th and Passyunk Avenue. The gym was on 16th and Passyunk Avenue, Bodybuilder Gym in South Philadelphia. And the radio, whoever was on the radio, I think it was actually Q102. She was hysterical, crying that the plane had crashed into one of the towers, and I immediately knew it wasn't some type of routine on the radio. No one would ever joke about that. So I turned my car around and drove home, turned the TV on, and saw what I saw and saw what everyone saw. I had a lot of friends in New York City. None of them were in the towers. They were near it, but none of them were in the towers. I tried calling all of them on my cell phone. Yes, we had cell phones back then, but the lines were all busy, and you couldn't call anyone. I had a friend who worked in Washington, D.C., and I tried calling her because there was attacks there, obviously, that sometimes we forget about, as well as in Pennsylvania, but people lost their lives there, but you couldn't call anybody. So I ended up just actually driving to the gym and actually telling the guys there, and they didn't even know. So that was what happened that day, and then the rest of the day was pretty much spent watching the news reports. And it was just a sad day, and it continues to be a sad day, and it's unfortunately something that we're going to have to live with. So with that said, it is Saturday. I am in the office. I did put out an article today regarding federal sentencing. Recently, 15 NFL players, former players, pled guilty in federal court to insurance fraud. They will be sentenced later this year, if not at the start of 2022. The news reports that I read pretty much just detailed the maximum sentence that these players could receive. And it's important to understand that while no one wants to plead guilty, when you plead guilty, you're doing it for a reason. And typically the reason is that you're receiving substantially less than what you could receive at trial. And kind of a general rule of thumb that I always use is that if you're going to receive at least half of what you can receive in trial, if you're convicted, well, then you have to seriously consider the plea offer if you know that you obviously did something wrong. Now, if you aren't guilty and it's simply the prosecutor has it wrong, well, then you should never plead guilty to something that you didn't do. And you have to have that conversation. But if you are pleading guilty, you have to understand what you're doing. You have to understand the evidence against you, what pretrial motions you have available, and why those motions won't work. Also, if you're pleading guilty, you have to understand sentencing. And federal sentencing is much different than sentencing at the state and local level. Federal sentencing is a very detailed process. And in that article, I discuss concepts such as departures and variances, two very important concepts that I'm sure that the attorneys representing those players, those former players, have discussed with them at length. And I can almost assure you that none of them would be pleading guilty if any of them thought that they could receive anywhere close to that maximum sentence. I think it was 10 years. If anything, a lot of them may not serve any type of jail time at all, and may be sentenced to something like house arrest or some type of probation. But again, those are all important considerations that have to be discussed with your attorney. If you have questions, 215-755-9000 in Pennsylvania, 856-793-7429 in New Jersey, website gambonelaw.com, a tremendous resource for you and your family. All of my books, my blogs, my videos, everything that I've written as a lawyer is available there in one convenient format. You can also sign up for our free weekly update, which goes out to over 3,000 of our current and former clients in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. It is a great resource to have. We are working on our newsletter, trying to make it better each and every week, and I think we're doing that in addition to our videos. I'm trying to work on another book. Right now, I have 5 available on the website. I think they're great, but we're coming out with something new, hopefully. And I wish you all well this weekend. It is pretty nice out, so please enjoy the weekend responsibly. Please don't drink and drive. Please do not leave children in the backseat of the car, even if you're going into the store for a couple of minutes. Even if it's a situation where you're leaving the car running, it is not a safe situation ever to do that. It is not. It is considered a crime in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey. It is child neglect. It's a very, very serious crime, and it's not something that you want to have to face. In addition, you are taking substantial risk with your child's life. So I can't stress that enough. Please do not do that, especially as the weather remains warm or even as it gets cold. Cold, warm, even if it's spring, don't do it. It's just dangerous. So once again, 215-755-9000 in Pennsylvania, 856-793-7429 in New Jersey. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you all very soon.